but it was certainly among the most elegant, with chandeliers, a grand fireplace, and oceans of white linen draped across circular tables. This night only one table was occupied, on the far side of the room, where 3 executives were chatting over drinks. 2 of the men were well known in town. Even their waitress recognized them as Terry Wilson and Mark Whitaker from the nearby ADM headquarters. Corr waited in a foyer outside the dining hall as Shepard and Herndon walked briskly toward the businessmen. The diners barely noticed the approaching men until they came to a stop at their table. "Mr. Wilson, Mr. Whitaker," Herndon said. The youngest of the diners, a blond man in his mid-30s with a mustache and a baby face, looked at Herndon with a puzzled expression. "Yes," he said. "I'm Mark Whitaker." Herndon and Shepard reached inside their jackets, bringing out matching leather cases. 2 gold shields flashed in the light of the dining hall. "I'm Bob Herndon, and I'm an FBI agent. This is Brian Shepard. He's also an FBI agent. We need to talk to both of you privately, right now." Wilson, in his 50s with white hair, set down his glass of Dewar's and water. "What's this all about?" "Well, Mr. Wilson, the best thing would be if Agent Shepard and I could talk to you over here," Herndon said, pointing to the foyer where Corr was waiting. Wilson glanced across the table at his second dinner partner, Stephen Yu, a visiting executive from ADM's division in China. With an almost imperceptible shrug, Wilson excused himself. He and Whitaker began to stand when Wilson abruptly stopped. "Do I need an attorney?" he asked. "That's up to you," Herndon said. "You're not under arrest. You're not in custody. You can leave any time. But you may want to hear what we have to say." Wilson nodded. He and Whitaker left the dining hall, leaving behind their bewildered colleague. As they reached the foyer, Herndon introduced Corr. "Agent Corr, why don't you find a place to talk to Mr. Whitaker?" Corr looked at Whitaker. "Is that all right with you, sir?" Whitaker nodded, his face a seeming mixture of astonishment and confusion. Corr escorted Whitaker outside as Wilson found a seat in the foyer. Herndon and Shepard took chairs on either side. Herndon leaned in just a few feet from Wilson's face, his elbows resting on his knees. "Mr. Wilson, we are here to see you because you're very important to ADM," he said. "This is a serious matter. It involves an international investigation regarding price fixing. There are many companies involved, including ADM." Herndon watched Wilson carefully. The man didn't flinch. His eyes held steady. But the color was draining from his face. "The FBI had used a number of investigative techniques in developing the case," Herndon said. He paused for an instant and then dropped the bomb. "We have tapes in this case," he said. "We have tapes of competitors getting together to fix prices." Tapes? Jesus. For several minutes Wilson listened, reeling, as Herndon spoke. The agent said that the FBI knew ADM and its competitors had conspired to rig worldwide prices of its products and had formed bogus industry associations as a cover for their illegal meetings. "Excuse me, sir. Cover?" Wilson interrupted. "What do you mean by cover?" Herndon and Shepard suppressed smiles. They knew Wilson understood exactly what they meant. The time had come to make that clear. "We've heard you say over and over that the associations are the perfect cover," Herndon said. "We've heard you say it on tape. We've seen you agree to fix prices. We've seen you tell others to do it." Herndon paused, staring into Wilson's eyes. Seconds passed, seeming like minutes. The moment grew unnatural. Wilson said nothing. Finally, Herndon broke the tension. "There are going to be indictments. People will be going to jail. Right now, you have the opportunity to make a decision, and we would like you to make the right decision." This was Wilson's chance to admit his mistakes, Herndon said. a chance to someday be able to look his grandchildren in the eye and say that he had done the right thing by confessing and helping the government. It's tough. It's hard. But it will be tougher if you don't cooperate, Herndon said. We're giving you the chance to make a difficult decision, probably the most difficult you've ever made. But it begins now by being honest about your activities at ADM. Suddenly, Wilson interrupted. I'm surprised you didn't go through the company attorneys, he said. I know the antitrust laws, and I haven't done anything wrong. And don't think I don't recognize the pressure tactics you're using. Wilson stood up. I haven't done anything wrong, he repeated, and this interview is over. Herndon glanced at Shepard. Just as expected. The agents rose and thanked Wilson. Herndon handed him a subpoena, pointing out the name of the government attorney who would be available to answer any questions. The two agents headed out the door. Almost immediately, they saw Corr and Whitaker heading back from the agent's car. It appeared that interviewing Whitaker had been as fruitless as confronting Wilson. Herndon stared at Whitaker as they passed on the sidewalk. Goodbye, Mr. Whitaker, he said. Thank you for your time. Sure, Whitaker replied hastily. I just don't think I know anything that can help you guys. Herndon and Shepard walked to their car and climbed inside. The show was over. It was 6:17 p.m., right on schedule. Mark, stay calm, Wilson said. Stay calm. It was about 30 minutes later. Wilson and Whitaker were hustling across the club parking lot, having finally ended their dinner with Stephen Yu. They had attempted to hide their anxiety with little success. Every few minutes, Wilson had headed to the phone in a frustrating effort to track down ADM's general counsel, Richard Rising. Between calls, he had sat at the table in near silence, slamming down scotches. When he finally found Rising, the lawyer sounded panicked. FBI agents were fanning out across Decatur, interviewing executives and seizing documents. Rising said Wilson and Whitaker should immediately head out to the house of Mick Andreas, ADM's vice chairman. He would meet them there. Before scurrying out the door, Wilson and Whitaker had muttered apologies to Yu, promising that someone would pick him up. Now, as they climbed into Whitaker's company-issued town car, Wilson was doing his best to calm his colleague and himself. This isn't going to be pleasant, so... Oh, shit! Whitaker interrupted, the tension of the moment exploding. I know. I did everything I could to stay calm around Stephen. I know, Wilson replied. Wilson took a breath. His hands trembled. Shit. I'm having trouble staying calm, he said. The moment seemed unreal. Here they were, two senior executives at a company of immense influence, known in the corridors of power from Washington to Moscow. This was a company that helped the FBI, for God's sake. Some of its executives were even sources for the Central Intelligence Agency. And now these agents were confronting them, telling them their own words, telling them that they were on tape. On tape? Where the hell did the tapes come from? Maybe, Whitaker suggested, the FBI had tapped some of their telephones. Well, that may be, Wilson replied. But what have they got? They got nothing. Well, Whitaker said softly, I get calls from time to time. Wilson nodded. I know that, Mark. As Whitaker drove, Wilson described his meeting with the agents and the tactics they had used. Whitaker said the same things had been done to him. They pulled into Mick Andreas's driveway, stopping just past the entryway to the large two-story stone house. As they got out of the car, Wilson tried guessing which other companies may have been raided. It seemed too much for Whitaker. Oh, God, he said. I'm glad my wife's not around. Yeah, Wilson said. Stay calm. Stay calm.
to keep listening to this audiobook. I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.